Find other great podcasts like this one at podmoth.network.
Looking for something scary, morbid, frighteningly insane? Get out! Every form of horror, from ghosts, cryptids, and curses, to deals with the devil, giant insects, and more. Join us at Haunted Tales, our weekly horror anthology series, and let me tell you a story.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast.
Curfew is in full effect. Everyone lock your doors and don't answer after midnight. Early on Wednesday episodes are about to be released.
Tell us about your encounters with Early on Wednesday.
Ladies, this is Natasha with Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. You guys are great. I mean, you're funny, you're very interactive with people, both on the pod and through social media. And your guys' detail in your episodes is great.
I think it's pretty awesome.
Stacey and Lavender keep you very engaged in the topic.
And you guys make me laugh throughout my day when I'm having a crappy day.
You heard it here first. Stay safe out there, ghouls.
Welcome to the Brutal, Bizarre, and Boozy podcast. I'm Declan, the son.
And I'm Jane, the mom. This is the podcast where we talk about brutal crimes, bizarre occurrences, and get you drunk with cocktails themed around one of our stories. To lighten things up, we'd like to end our time with a chaser. Please keep in mind some of our stories might be upsetting to young or sensitive ears.
We love hearing from our listeners, so feel free to contact us by email or social media. You can find our contact info in the show notes for this episode. If you'd like to support us through Patreon, you can find us there at Brutal, Bizarre, and Boozy Podcast, or use the link in our show notes.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us once again for another Brutal, Bizarre, and Boozy episode. What story do you have for us today, Mom?
I am going to be telling you about a weird triangle where spooky and unexplained stuff happens. Kind of like the Bermuda Triangle, but not in Bermuda.
Isosceles, obtuse, or acute?
More on the acute side, I think. Maybe a little obtuse. We'll see.
Okay.
I don't know. You'll have to look it up when I tell you what it is.
Okay.
What are you going to be telling us about?
I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to mispronounce his name, but I tried my best, okay? But OpenAI whistleblower-Suchir Balaji.
Oh. Okay, you're going to have to spell that for me for my notes.
Suchir. Last name Balaji.
Thanks. Okay. Interesting.
So, to go with this, I have the cocktail, the Future Freeze. And that's because he worked at an AI company and AI is the future. So this cocktail consists of... Oh, gotta add. Hang on. Get out of my way. So to make this drink, I thought the measurements were weird, but 3 tablespoons of vodka.
I thought they were weird too.
1 tablespoon of blue curacao, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, freshly squeezed, and a half cup of Sprite. Obviously, it's got blue curacao, so it's a very blue drink, but let's give it a try.
Yes. You keep getting us these blue drinks.
I don't like blue curacao either, so I don't know why I keep picking them. But they just match my story, I guess. Yeah, that's... I used a big cup, so there's a lot of Sprite in there, so it wasn't as bad, but it's very strong. 3 tablespoons of vodka is a good amount.
That's not what I'm coughing and gagging about.
What are you coughing and gagging about?
The bubbles hit my throat weird. Oh my God. Oh, I think I inhaled more of the bubbles than I actually did drink them. Okay, let me give it another shot. Yeah, I just taste soda or
So
Sprite.
mediocre.
I don't really
think
taste.
it tastes like 4 of the other cocktails we made in the past that are blue.
I think all of the blue cocktails involve the same stuff. Sprite,
Vodka, Sprite, lime juice.
vodka, blue curacao. I'd have to go back and look at all of our blue drinks, but I think it's just the
Some
same drink
variation of
with a
this,
different
yeah.
name.
I'm sure
Wow.
this was
Okay.
made by some AI website or something, but the
Probably.
name matched, so I had to pick it. So let's talk about Suchir.
Boring.
Suchir was an excellent student. Some even called him a prodigy. From high school, he always did good in school, preferring like working on computers compared to sports. So
he's a smart kid.
Yeah, he's a smart guy.
Okay.
Suchir worked in a department that focused on collecting data from the... Oh, I skipped over some shit. So Suchir, he went to college for a little while and decided that after getting his bachelor's, his parents wanted him to go and get his master's, but he's like, I'm making enough money from coding, like on the side, that why would I go get my master's? So he got hired by OpenAI, the people that make ChatGPT.
Nice.
As a coder. And Suchir worked in the department that focused on collecting data from the internet to feed ChatGPT. Similar to a zookeeper, AI is fed off the internet, and like gorillas, an AI needs to be fed the right information to be perform properly. So
makes sense.
Suchir was in charge of feeding ChatGPT bananas, basically.
Okay.
So if you feed a gorilla dog food, it won't survive. But if you provide a gorilla with gorilla food, it's going to perform much better. So he was in charge of looking through and programming like, hey, check out, look at this, but don't look at this for information and like things like that.
Okay.
So while I don't know shit about AI, I know that it pulls a majority of its information from specific websites and articles to turn understandable information like to the average person. So if you're reading like a scientific paper, a lot of people aren't going to read it and be like, oh, I know what isotopes are and shit, but it makes it so that when you use ChatGPT, a normal person can just read it and understand what it's saying.
Okay.
However, AI can be used to diminish a lot of very important jobs. For example, artists. So more and more people use ChatGPT and AI services to create artworks in their favorite art style, but it never looks as good as a human can make. This is because ChatGPT pulls from a reservoir of previously created artwork from real humans, many of which don't actively have copyrights on their work. So when ChatGPT pulls an article or uses some information from the internet, it is often infringing on copyright laws. So it's stealing real people's artwork and kind of transforming it in its weird computer version. But
okay.
He was a very useful member of the team and even considered a top programmer, being awarded national championship of a 2016 computing Olympics, which I didn't know was a thing. Like they have Olympics for like programmers and stuff like that, which is kind of cool.
It's cool. Never heard of it.
Never heard of it before either, but I like it.
No. I wish there was an Olympics for stuff that I do.
Yeah. Chiropractor Olympics.
Or just anything. Like
drinking Olympics. I think
anything.
I could do good on that. But
yes, I think you could.
So he went to Berkeley and even went to China with his computing team to compete in various competitions. So Suchir, when he started working at ChatGPT, he had noticed that when he asked about a political question, that ChatGPT used a political article verbatim that was posted by a real author. This was an obvious violation of ideological infringement. So, because there's like copyrights for, or like patents for products, but there's also intellectual property. And this was stealing someone's intellectual property. So Suchir decided to become a whistleblower about this fact. He wanted the whole world to know that ChatGPT was stealing intellectual properties from real people to create AI-generated responses to real-world questions. On October 23rd, 2024, he scheduled an interview with press to explain the context of his whistleblower story. Suchir exposed OpenAI to stealing and using intellectual property to generate answers for people using ChatGPT. Only 5 days after his 27th birthday, which he spent with his friends and family on Catalina Island, he was found dead in his apartment a little over a month after he went into the news to blow the whistle on the OpenAI.
Okay.
But the circumstances were a bit strange. San Francisco medical examiners had said it was a simple suicide. However, Suchir had ordered food from DoorDash before he died, which was left outside of his door, which is not typical of people committing suicide. They wouldn't order food to their house if they knew they were going to die.
No.
Or at least they would eat it. If they want to have like a final meal, they would eat it. They wouldn't just leave it out there.
For sure. You're not ordering food and spending the money on it and taking the time to order the food and then
not eat it, at least. I understand the final meal, but like you're going to eat it.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
The funeral home that Suchir was placed in recommended that the family get a second autopsy done.
Wow.
Which is a bit strange.
If the funeral home is telling that,
you, like, hey, this is a little strange.
Something shady. Figure it out.
So in January of 2024, he had purchased a pistol, assumingly for self-defense. Normal people do that. But this pistol was used in the quote-unquote suicide.
Okay.
So the gunshot wound was from an angle, which would have been very difficult to replicate on a suicide. And the pistol he had bought previously was used. The discovery after the initial autopsy performed by the city of San Francisco, the Bilal family paid for a PI and a secondary autopsy of the body. And that is when it was discovered that the unique bullet wound was actually implicating murder.
Okay.
The day of the murder, Suchir's mother called him to check up after he returned from Catalina Island with his friend. She just wanted to see how his birthday went and stuff like that. The phone rang once before being sent to voicemail, which is unusual. If you're dead, the phone will ring for an undisclosed amount of time and then go to voicemail. But it rang once and then sent straight to voicemail. Suchir was very close with his parents, so he would have picked up the phone rather than canceling the call, or at minimum call back. On November 25th, his mother went to check in on him, and when he didn't answer the door, she called police. Later that day, the police arrived and knocked on the door, but he didn't open the door because he was dead.
Right.
The police kind of were just like, we can't open in the door, so they sent her away. And the following day, his mother filed a missing persons report. His mother arrived at the apartment with police after filing the missing persons report, and they used the leasing manager's key to enter the apartment and found Suchir's body. The police refused to admit anything to his mother, and when she saw a plain Sprinter van roll up, she knew that her son was dead. Because no ambulance pulled up, she just saw a van and kind of just knew.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. The police tried to send her away, claiming it was police procedure, but she refused and watched her son's body get hauled out of the apartment.
Okay.
So, along with the DoorDash, Suchir had multiple packages that had been accumulating while he was on vacation. Again, people don't buy things on Amazon right before they die. Or right before they kill
Right.
themselves, I should say.
I wouldn't think so. Unless
However-
they're high and shopping, which
So
I may or may not
yeah,
have done in
that's-
the past.
We all are a little guilty of that, but we don't kill ourselves after buying them. We wait.
No,
But-
I'm not.
So he lived in an apartment complex that was pretty nice. So they had like a postmaster, I guess you would call it, like someone in charge
Okay.
of receiving
Your
their
stuff so it
packages
doesn't
and
get
stuff
stolen.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, makes
Somehow
sense.
all those packages had disappeared early in December.
Like his or everyone's?
Just his.
Just his.
Yes.
That's weird.
So, along with all these weird things, there was some hairs picked up from the crime scene that were of a wig that Suchir did not own.
Weird.
Yes.
Ew.
So he wasn't a type of dude to have wigs. He didn't own any wigs, but there was in the crime scene, like in the blood pool, like there was
Okay.
his hairs and then just random wig hairs.
Wig hairs. Okay, so it wasn't like they found wig hairs in the kitchen and maybe
No,
he
it
had a
was
friend who liked to
At
wear
the active
wigs.
crime scene.
Oh, that's awkward to explain.
Yeah. And along with that, his apartment had been somewhat turned over, not like a robbery, but like there was shit all over the place. And his family and friends said like he's not the type of person to just throw shit all over the like.
Oh,
You can find pictures of it, and it looks like like someone came home after a trip and their
Tossed
bag
his-
exploded and they ran away. Like,
so somebody tossed his apartment, is what you're saying.
It was
Okay.
It was turned over. Yeah. So there was blood found in the bathroom, which is where the body was located. And
Okay.
there was also blood in the kitchen and on the front door. Which, if you shoot yourself in the head, you shouldn't be walking
can't do
around to the
that.
kitchen and the front door. Yeah.
Trail of blood in multiple rooms if you're deceased.
Yeah.
Okay.
Suchir had also experienced blunt force trauma to his head, which caused the earbuds he was wearing to fall into different rooms. So one was found in the bathroom and one was found near his computer in the living room area.
Okay. How's that explained?
By the blunt force trauma he experienced. So they think that someone came in, hit him on the head, and forced him to do things.
That totally makes sense. But in
'Cause if you're
the
wearing-
I committed suicide explanation,
It doesn't
how does
make
that
any
happen?
sense. It doesn't happen at all. Unless
Okay.
he's using a shotgun to blow both headphones across the fucking apartment, but still.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So the weirdest part of this whole thing is that the bullet never touched his brain. The angle of the bullet entered from the forehead, going 45 degrees down, missing the brain and the spinal cord. So it was like right kind of in between the eyes, pretty much, going 45
Okay.
degrees down through his head, basically.
Face?
Like through the
But-
kind of through the face,
Yeah, it would be
esophageal
like through the
part, like
face.
yeah. And exited
How do you
through his neck without hitting the spinal cord. Which, if
So
you're
did
killing
he
yourself,
bleed out then?
How
How do you shoot yourself like that?
autopsy says he
Did
killed
he-
himself. So I don't know.
Did he
Well, if you get shot right through the face,
Yeah.
you're it's gonna hit arteries and shit like that. But
Yeah. So it would be basically blood loss.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. I don't like that.
Yeah. It's another weird thing. No one in the apartment complex heard any gunshots.
Okay.
And 2 of the entrances to the apartment had no camera access. So it would be very easy if someone went in wearing a wig, got a silencer on their gun, hits him over the
Right.
head, makes him look like he killed himself.
Were there other wounds to his head besides the gunshot wound?
Yes, blunt
Like,
force
was there
trauma to the
evidence?
I
Okay,
think
there
it was
was
the
the
left
blunt.
side.
Okay.
Yeah.
How? Why would you do that if you were gonna shoot yourself in the head? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So the attorney hired by the family claims that the entry wound would not have occurred naturally and admittedly battled with the police department and the person that originally ran the autopsy. On December 2nd, 2024, Suchir had a meeting scheduled with a lawyer that wanted to press charges with Associated Press against intellectual property damage. So this was before he was killed or committed suicide or whatever you want to believe.
Right. Yes. In quotations,
But the
committed
thing
suicide.
is, I just think it's strange. And when the Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI, was interviewed about the death of his colleague, he was very dismissive of any other narrative other than what was presented to the media, which was suicide. He was interviewed multiple times about this because they weren't friends, but they were they had talked to each other.
Working
together. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think that it was a suicide based on things that I've seen.
That information? No.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just a weird story.
I don't like that.
No.
I don't like this. Is it a suicide or not? Stuff.
There's a lot of whistleblowers that commit suicide, and it seems a bit fishy
so
every time.
So many whistleblowers that commit yikes.
If I was a whistleblower, I would hire private security. I'd be like, no one is going to leave my side. I will not.
A lot of them. Not just one. Gotta have backup security.
Full military armor,
Yeah, and I'm gonna file something with my attorney that says I at no point in time will ever commit.
Myself.
Yeah. Yikes.
Super strange.
I don't like it. Well, are you ready to hear my strange story?
I am.
Okay. Many people have heard of the Bermuda Triangle, and we've talked about it in a couple of different episodes. But many people don't know about other mysterious triangles in different parts of the world. The triangle we're discussing today is in Alaska. Are you ready?
I am, but are you going to talk about ley lines?
No, I'm not talking about ley lines.
That's something.
There will be.
I want to, because I think Bermuda Triangle is something to do with ley lines, but
this might too. I honestly don't know. I didn't research anything about ley lines, and it didn't pop up in any of the articles and different websites that I looked at. The triangles as a whole aren't really that odd. I mean, all you have to do is find 3 points in somewhat geographically close location and you can make a triangle. So anywhere could be a triangle. What makes both the Bermuda Triangle and the Alaska Triangle notable is that strange things happen there. There are other strange triangles that, who knows, we might cover them in the future, in places like Massachusetts and Ireland, because I've heard of other triangles. I've heard of the Massachusetts Triangle, and weird stuff that happens there. But
I've only heard of
today
Bermuda.
we're just sticking with Alaska. The points of the Alaska Triangle are Juneau, Anchorage, and this is probably not a good pronunciation, but Utqiagvik, which was formerly called Barrow, but recently they changed their name back to like the indigenous language name.
I would have thought like the name sounds Russian, and I think Russia owned Alaska before we bought it. So
Yes.
that's interesting.
I think it's more like, I could see where you could say, yeah, but I think it's
Utqiagvik. I think it's the Vic that
Utqiagvik. And I've heard a
That sounds
couple of
Russian.
pronunciations of it, but it's not
Are we
not
going
the
to
same
pass
across.
through this triangle on our Alaska trip?
Yes.
Oh no! Why am I listening to it? I'm the rest of this
Okay.
episode. I don't want
But
anything
I'm
bad
going to
happen.
tell you, like the weird, like the really scary stuff will not be an issue for us because we're not going to be out hiking and shit like that.
Okay.
So I think we'll be safe from the triangle.
Okay.
The area of the triangle is about 250,000 square miles, so it's not tiny. Unlike the Bermuda Triangle, most of the Alaska Triangle is made up of rugged and unforgivable terrain rather than ocean. There's a little bit of oceanic crossover, but most of it is land stuff. There are dense forests, steep, craggy mountain peaks, alpine lakes, glaciers, and icy tundra. Plus, the weather can be very harsh with cold temperatures and heavy snowfall. Not exactly someplace I want to go missing in. Alaska is also a hotbed for reported UFO sightings. So maybe when we're in Alaska, we'll see some UFO stuff. That would be...
Fingers crossed. That'd be cool.
Yes, that would be cool. All of these things make for perfect conditions to feed strange stories and spooky occurrences. From missing planes to cryptid sightings to missing people, there are many bizarre things happening up in Alaska, which is not why we're going, but will be cool if we find some weird stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
Let's chat about some of the statistics regarding missing people. In the last 50 years or so, there have been more than 20,000 people reported missing in Alaska. Per capita, this is twice the national average, which in and of itself, kind of weird and makes you go, why so many?
Okay, but Alaska has a lot of things that most places don't have. They have grizzly bears
True.
and huge, vast open wilderness and wolves. And
Very true. Yes.
a lot colder there than so. I would expect
Yes.
that a lot of people would go missing in Alaska.
Just the terrain itself. I mean, you've got glaciers and crevasses in the glaciers, and so it's gonna, and you've got dense forests where if you disappear, you're gone for good.
Only a
And like you
dog's gonna
said,
find you.
bears could eat you.
Yeah.
So that could definitely account for
big fat grizzly bears there.
some of the stuff. But we're going to talk about some stuff that makes you go, that's weird. The manner of the missing people reports ranges from hikers that disappear to airplanes full of passengers that just fall off the radar. Many of those reported missing are never found, like no trace of them ever found kind of thing. Not like, oh, we found them 10 years later. Like 10 years later, there's still nothing and no evidence that the person was ever there kind of thing. In January 1950, a military plane with 44 people aboard disappeared after it left Anchorage. The plane was headed to Montana, but was late leaving due to a problem with one of the engines. After repairs were made to the engine, the plane departed. 2 hours after departure, the pilot checked in on schedule and said they were having no problems other than some ice on the wings. So, no big deal. This was the last time the flight was officially heard from. A massive search ensued with around 85 planes and over 7,000 people searching for the missing plane and its passengers. Nothing has ever been found. From 1950, there's still nothing ever found.
I feel like
That's
that
a
was
long
brought up in Project
ass
Stargate
time ago.
when they were trying to locate.
Oh,
That might have been a different plane, but
maybe.
that we did
I
that
don't know.
episode. That was like episode 20 something, I think. So I don't.
That was a long
Sorry
time
to
ago.
derail.
That's all right. However, there were strange radio transmissions heard for days after the plane went missing that some believe was the missing Douglas airplane.
It entered
This
another
led some
dimension
to-
and it was trying to reach out.
Yep. This led some to believe that the plane had flown into some type of portal or vortex. And that's why they were still transmitting sound.
That's.
I don't know.
I feel like
it's
I
creepy.
feel like that's what happened. I think
It
there's
could be.
weird little anomalies that happen, things like that. Like,
Yeah.
oh man.
Well, we talked about a portal / vortex when we covered gosh, what was that guy's name? When in Bruce Gernon, there it is. I happened to just pop right onto it. Episode 23, when we talked about the Bermuda Triangle and one of the pilots that flew into it and had a weird episode. So if you haven't heard that, go back and listen to it. It talks about
There's
weird
also,
stuff
like-
that the pilot saw.
There's one in our next to our town. The hill that you put your car in neutral and it
vortex.
rolls up the hill.
Yeah, I think a lot of places have things like that. Did you ever
This
do that?
weird- No, I was too scared to. I think it would freak me out. Because it was in the
I
same
think I
area that I
did-
would take the Land Rover and do donuts in
Oh,
people's yards
yeah.
and stuff. So
I'm surprised you didn't try it just out of the sake of curiosity.
I didn't really know where I heard about it, and there was
Oh.
one chance to go up there, and I was like, I'm good.
You're like, no, I'm good.
We're just gonna sit here and smoke weed in this guy's house.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to go fucking.
Back to Alaska in 1972, politicians Thomas Hale Boggs and Nick Begich were aboard a smaller plane carrying a pilot and 2 other men headed from Anchorage to Juneau. The plane and all the passengers went missing with no trace ever found. One of the... So again,
Alaska's huge. There's so many
It is
forests that you can't
huge.
get through. But you think you'd
Plus-
see a plane crash from a helicopter flying above.
They
But
did
again-
look for all those sorts of things and never found any trace of it. But I believe from Anchorage to Juneau, they are going over some water. So it's possible that they crashed in the ocean and you wouldn't have a lot of evidence of that.
Makes sense.
And back in 1972, you're not going to have the same technology that you are today. Regardless,
Yeah.
they still haven't
True.
found him 50 plus years later. So, one of the strangest missing persons cases, in my opinion, is that of Michael Lemaitre. I'm sure I mispronounced the last name. It's a French name, but I think Lemaitre is what Google told me is how to pronounce it, if we believe Google. He disappeared in July of 2012. He was a 66-year-old grandfather and businessman who was competing in the Mount Marathon for the first time. Mount Marathon is this train wreck of a race, like foot race, that it's named Mount Marathon, but it's not actually a marathon. It's not 26 whatever miles. It's a shorter race at around 3 to 3.5 miles, depending on your route. Basically, it's not the name of the distance, but it's the torture that's involved, because it's a grueling race up like a rocky mountain through rough terrain, and then you turn around at a spot towards the top and then go back down. And although it's just like 3.5 miles, sounds like friggin' torture tough, in my opinion, and I'm out. The weather on the day of the race can vary. I mean, it's in July, but it's Alaska, and weather in Alaska isn't like, oh, sunshine and rainbows. It gets kind of nasty at times. On this day, it was cold, rainy, and foggy, and the roads were slick. The race is popular and attracts thousands of spectators to the area and hundreds of runners, and is held every year. So there's a lot of extra people that are in the area. Racers start at the bottom, climb up to the turnaround spot, which is not quite at the peak of the mountain. When they get to the turnaround spot, they register their bib number. So they tell them, I'm whatever number. And then they go back down the mountain. On the day that he was racing, he came across another racer about 200 meters down from the turnaround spot. The other racer was headed back down the mountain, while Michael was yet to reach the turnaround spot. He gave the other racer his bib number and continued on his journey. The other racer notified the finish line that one more racer was behind him by about an hour and a half, saying, oh yeah, bib number such and such is going to be here in about an hour. And he'll be back at the finish line in about an hour and a half. But Michael never made it. He didn't cross the finish line. Extensive searches of the entire mountain were done for several days, involving ground and air searches, including infrared heat sensors and canines. No trace of him has ever been found.
That's weird. He just vanished.
It's super weird. Exactly. Just poof, gone, not there anymore.
Just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Weird.
Missing people are not the only strange things happening in the Alaska Triangle. There are many legends surrounding strange encounters with cryptids like Bigfoot and other strange creatures. We discussed one of these reported encounters in episode 48 when we talked about the strange deaths in Portlock, Alaska. As a refresher, if you haven't heard that episode in a while, Portlock was a cannery town on the Kenai Peninsula. It is now a ghost town, but was located on the Port Chatham Bay and happens to be in the western portion of our Alaska Triangle. In the early 1900s, there were a few episodes of missing people whose body parts turned up in the bay without any kind of explanation. Just, an arm and a leg here kind of thing. Locals described seeing a hairy man around the time that many of the people went missing.
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot or hairy men aren't the only cryptids of the area. There are indigenous legends surrounding another creature known as the Kushtaka. This is a shape-shifting human otter.
I've heard. I was going to do an episode on this, I think. Because I was looking at cryptids and I saw that and I was like,
yeah,
that is so bizarre. It's strange.
Super weird. Yes. Some legends say it is a demon that will trick and lure travelers to a dangerous, deadly end, while other stories claim a more playful spirit that appears to help people. Either way, I am not down for encountering a shape-shifting otter. No, thank you. I'm good without that. Cryptids aren't the only strange sightings reported here either. There are many UFO sightings inside of the Alaska Triangle. Per capita, there are more UFO sightings in Alaska than in any other state, which maybe that's because it's dark for many months of the year.
And there's probably less light pollution.
Yeah,
that
could be too.
You can see more of the night sky.
For sure. In 1950, a U.S. Navy pilot noted a UFO going over 800 miles an hour.
God damn.
Which is way too fast for me. One evening in November 2020, 2 residents of the town Wasilla were driving down the street when they saw strange lights in the sky. The lights were in a triangular formation and low to the ground. They were initially believed to be planes. However, as the couple got closer to the lights, they realized they were moving in a strange manner that was not like any planes that they had ever seen. To add to the strangeness, there was no sound associated with the lights, as you would expect from a plane or even a drone. And the couple were able to get the lights and their movement on video. So that's interesting because you don't see that very often.
Yeah.
Some UFO researchers believe that the remoteness of Alaska and the lower population itself is an attraction for the aliens. So, if aliens are coming and you want to just like buzz the neighborhood and fuck around in your UFO, maybe you want to do it in a place where not everybody's going to see you.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. One Alaska teen reported having a strange UFO encounter 30 years ago while he was waiting for the school bus. He noticed multicolored lights in the sky, also in a triangular formation. As the lights got closer, he started to feel a buzzing sensation around him, similar to static electricity, which would be creepy in and of itself. Then the lights started moving quickly, but the lights didn't travel normally. They seemed to jump from one position to the other, and then they quickly disappeared completely. So instead of seeing like the movement of the lights, it was like it's here and then there and then here and then there. So they were like jumping from position.
That's spooky.
I don't want to see that. No thanks. There are military bases inside of the triangle, and there are often more reported UFOs during the times that the military is doing testing. So because of the remote locations and the cold, the military bases will often do like Arctic testing, and that is said to correspond with heightened UFO reports.
So they're watching the military bases and shit?
Possibly. Skeptics could say increased sightings are just related to the military activities. So you got more planes floating around doing weird shit. But again, the formation and the movements of the light is not like a normal aircraft. So that kind of contradicts that concept.
Alaska is also I feel like it's a hot spot that people would want to take over because it's so close to America and Canada but it's also
and
so close to
Russia.
Russia. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of UFOs
it's kind of in the middle of everything. In 1972, there was a report of a large circle of 53 dead and mutilated caribou just a few miles from one of the military bases. And
that's a lot of dead caribou.
That is. And it's like when we talked about the dead and mutilated cows that you talked about in an episode.
Oh, they were missing blood and guts?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
The plot thickens.
In 1978, there was another circle of dead animals found by hikers hundreds of miles away from any known military bases. One of the hikers spotted a UFO landing a distance away. The hikers then went to the point where they believed the craft had landed. They arrived at a clearing where a large circle was found in the brush. There were many dead animals inside of that circle. There was moose, caribou, and bear. Along the outside circle, so there's a circle in the brush, and there's dead animals around the outside of the circle. The animals were warm to the touch, so recently deceased.
That's fucking weird. Oh my
Just
God.
Wait. The strangest part is that one of the animals inside of the circle was an orca whale, hundreds of miles away from the ocean.
How have I never heard of this before? This is fucking insane.
Right? Isn't that crazy as shit?
I just have no words.
Yeah. I know. So whether it's a cryptid, a UFO, or explainable terrible weather and awful terrain, there's a lot of strange things happening in Alaska.
Terrible
And
weather
we're gonna
doesn't
go there next
explain
year.
an orca.
No, it does not. Terrible weather does not. But you could blame terrible
Doesn't make any
weather
sense.
on missing people. But no, you
Well,
wouldn't
yeah, but
explain that on
Unless,
an
I don't
orca
think
in a
Alaska
field.
gets tornadoes because they have so many mountains. Could be wrong, but
Right.
never heard of
If
an
they get
Alaska
it, it's
tornado.
probably very rare.
Alaska tornado
Yeah.
sounds like an Urban Dictionary term.
Yes, and it's probably something that I don't want to ever look up because that will be traumatized.
You have a chaser for us?
I do. My chaser is a watch recommendation for a show on Apple Plus called Before with Billy Crystal in it. And he is a child psychologist who recently lost his wife, and he gets a new patient that has weird things happening to him and seems to be linked to his own past. So it's kind of a psychological, weird, paranormally story. It's really cool though. I liked it. We watched it, binged it pretty quickly. So it's a good story, and it has a resolution, which is nice. I like those.
Yeah.
Instead
I
of
hate when they don't
you
have
like
a
finish and you're like,
resolution.
what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
So I liked it. It was a good show. I recommend it. What about you? What's your chaser?
My chaser is a podcast called Alive Again. And I can't remember if you talked about this or not, but
I don't think so.
It's stories of people who died and came back or almost died. So there's a lot of near-death experience, and it's kind of like interview style. So they'll tell their story, and there's some really interesting ones on there that it's I went and I had a near-death experience and shit like that. It's super interesting to listen to.
I have never heard of it, and I am now going to go find it and binge it because I love that stuff.
There's a lot of pretty brutal ones on there, because I thought it was
really?
all near-death experiences, where people die and then they come back after seeing whatever.
Okay.
But there's one that was really rough to listen to about a journalist in Mexico who got kidnapped by the cartel and they almost beat him to death.
I'm surprised he survived.
But that one didn't have a near death. It was obviously he was near death, but not what we're thinking, the weird experience where you see.
Interesting. Alive Again.
Alive Again. Yes, by iHeart Podcasts.
I like it.
But there's a lot of really interesting things on there.
That's a good recommendation. I'll have to check that out.
Easy to digest, but yeah.
Cool.
Thanks
awesome
for listening, everybody. Thanks for joining us once again for another episode.
Joining us for our fun stories and
Yeah.
And
checking us out.
sometimes good drinks. Not today. Sometimes.
All right.
Not today.
Love you, Mom.
Love you. Bye.
Hey, friends. Thank you for supporting our podcast. Please share our show with your brutal and bizarre friends. Give us a boozy follow on your favorite podcast platform. If you're feeling extra generous, we'd appreciate a 5-star rating or review as well. But maybe do that sober so all the letters are in the right place.
You can find all our contact information in the show notes. We love hearing from you, and if you're interested in helping us stock the bar for our future boozy episodes, you can find our Patreon link in the show notes as well.